Hi, this is Dustine from Two Lucky Cats. Today I'm going to show you how to do an easy block printing technique. I was never interested in learning block printing because you have to buy linoleum blocks and special cutting tools, and then you have to carve your design out of the block. And it was just too many other things that I could use, different techniques I knew to decorate. But a while ago, I don't know when or from where, I learned this very easy technique. You can do it with materials that you already have that are very inexpensive, and you get good results from it. As you can see, here are some of the cards and postcards I created using this technique. So let's get started, and I'll show you how to do it. The first thing we want to do is make the plates. What you need to make the plates are a ruler, a blunt pencil, and some of these foam trays. Now, you can either use these foam dishes that I got at the dollar store. And since I wanted to make plates that are 4 by 6, this is the size I needed to get, the 10 and a quarter inch plate. But you can also use these foam trays that you get at the grocery store. They have either meat or vegetables in it. So once you take your meat or vegetables out of these, just wash them with warm soapy water, and you can use them to cut the edges off and then use the interior part for a plate. And the size of the plate really depends on how big you want the design to be. So I was working with postcards and note cards, so I made the plates 4 inches by 6 inches. And I bought these plates at the dollar store. I was concerned before I actually tried them out that the foam would be too thin, but they actually worked out just fine. So once you get your styrofoam plates together, you just want to draw on the back with a pencil. And the reason you want the pencil to be blunt is that if it's too sharp, the line won't be thick enough to actually show up when you print it, plus the point may break off when you're using it. So all those blunted pencils you have laying around, here's a good use for them. Or you could also use an ink pen that ran out of ink. So that's a use for your blunt pencils and your ink pens that don't have any ink in them. So anyway, just trace 4 by 6 inches on the plate. Let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just trace it around, and then once you draw it, you can just cut it out. You could cut these with scissors. Now what I do is I cut off the excess foam, which makes it easier to cut more accurately as far as the plate goes. So just cut the excess off and then cut out the rest of the foam, and this is what you'll have. This is your plate. Now, once you have the plate cut out, you're going to draw your design on here. Now, I've included several patterns with this information sheet for this video, and what I did the same thing you can do, is trace the patterns onto the plate. Now, for example, let me show you with this one. This is a snail and a flower. So there's a flower piece, so I just drew it, and then I just drew a line down here to where the flower is going to end, and then I traced both of these leaves. Of course, you draw it on one side, and then you have to flip it over and do it on the other side. Then with the snail, I just drew the outline of the snail, and then there's another piece that you can put on top just to draw this line here. After you've done that, then you could add more details, and it's really up to you how much detail you want to draw. If you want to make this spiral and then draw the lines around, it's easy to put the dots in because you just take your pencil and go like this, and then make a bigger dot for the eye. And then for the leaves, you could just draw a couple lines here to give a little vein detail. And I would at least put a little circle in the center of the flower. But whether or not you want to draw the petals in place or put these in is really up to you. Here's another design where I put flowers across, and again you just can trace each individual flower and then draw the lines down. And then for the leaves, you draw this side and then flip it over and draw the other side. And then you can put some vein details in there if you want. And or you can put some of the leaf details. Here's the flower again that I used with the snail, but I just put the 3 flowers across. Here's the snail again, and it has a border around it. So you can just draw a pattern that's about a 1/4 inch away, a rectangle that's about 1/4 inch smaller than the size of the plate, and then another 1/4 inch smaller, make another rectangle, and then just trace that. Then for the border, you can just put X's or V's or dots or whatever you want to decorate the border. And here is another design, fish. The only thing you want to remember is, remember that when you make this plate, it's going to create a mirror image. So if the fish is pointing this way on your plate, when you go to print it, it's going to be pointing this way. So if there's a particular direction you want these things like the snail or the fish to go in, you just have to make sure that you create a mirror image so it'll go in the right direction when you print it. Now if you have something like a flower, of course there's no front or back, or it's no direction that it's facing, so you don't have to be concerned about that. Now the other thing that you can do with these plates is just create some kind of a background. Like here I just made curves here that are going lengthways, and here is one that's going across the width. Or you can just make lines that are about the same size or different sizes, whatever. Once you get those and the paint is dry, then you can use some of the stamps that we created and stamp on top of it. So this is something that I like to use with this technique, is layer some of these designs, and you can get quite nice details. You could also use some of the patterns for the stamps and trace them directly on your print block. So once you've traced your design and you're happy with it, then you'll be ready to print. I hope you enjoyed learning the block printing technique, and that you'll come back and join us to make some note cards and postcards using the same technique. Come back and see us often at twoluckycats.com, because we have a lot of techniques and projects to share with you. Hope to see you soon.